How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a brand new video. Feel free to follow me on Snapchat. All that being said, today we have a very interesting video with all the talk of cryptocurrency and blockchain and how cryptocurrency is going to transform the world as we know it. It is interesting to see how a lot of the central media figures, a lot of the really expensive people of our world have essentially attached themselves to cryptocurrency. So this is going to be just more of a fun video, sort of just a short video where we're going to talk about the various different celebrities who have essentially promoted cryptocurrency or have made public their use of cryptocurrency in one way or another. Essentially, this is just a random compiling of people like Kanye West who've been shown in the news, but up to and including the Pope, and what's really the difference between Kanye West and the Pope at this point. So just looking at the different things involving Bitcoin, and of course we see people like billionaires like Mark Cuban and so forth being public about their usage with Bitcoin. But some people who I find a little bit more interesting is like Floyd Mayweather, who is of course also a pretty important role model for the youth these days. There really aren't many celebrities out there who are as good of a role model as Floyd Mayweather. If you have a younger brother or sister, definitely looking up to Floyd Mayweather. He's one of those people who's really an accomplished person in all sorts of ways that a human being could essentially be accomplished in this world. What he did to McGregor was just legendary. But moving on, a more not my favorite guy, but Ashton Kutcher, or as I like to call him, that random guy from that 70s show, worth $200 million. So, I mean, he doesn't joke around. So when you see this guy going on the Ellen DeGeneres show talking about cryptocurrency, I mean, it's important to see what these guys are up to. And I mean, when I hear that these different individuals are what they do and where they position themselves, who knows, maybe one day Ashton Kutcher will be a billionaire. We all know that he has a thing for Steve Jobs. I mean, he makes different movies about Steve Jobs, and of course he's sort of in that same vein. But of course we also have people like Johnny Depp who are going to be making movies about cryptocurrency as well, driving essentially that conversation about similar cryptocurrencies into the public consciousness. I mean, Johnny Depp worth $400 million, of course, and the Winklevoss twins worth a full billion, and of course them being involved already very deeply with cryptocurrency, but also heavily tied in with Hollywood and so forth, of course being popularized by the different movies that made about them, and then of course their interactions with Zuckerbot, pretty much the origination of the Zuck, if you want to find out where that was originated. But yeah, I mean, moving right along, DJ Khaled, of course, being involved with cryptocurrency as well, really showing that that hip-hop scene isn't very shy away from the different cryptocurrency things, and what's essentially happening, and the thing that all these different people have in common is they're pretty smart people. I mean, they're really, I mean, I would say Floyd Mayweather is probably one of the most intelligent on the list, and then of course finally we have Mike Tyson, and I mean, it is funny to see that they're not necessarily the most people who you'd expect essentially, but I mean, it is interesting to see the different I mean, and of course one of the richest people in the world, if not the richest right now, the man himself, of course being very outspoken with his involvements with the various different cryptocurrencies and so forth. And yeah, I mean, it is interesting to see how and of course we have been seeing Facebook aligning themselves with cryptocurrency, of course, as well. So it is interesting to see these different celebrities, if they've been associating themselves with these groundbreaking technologies. So I mean, as much as you might see cryptocurrencies getting crapped on in the news, there really are things happening. Really, celebrities seem to be eager to align themselves with cryptocurrency as early as possible. useful, if anything, just to be along the way for the hype. But of course, groundbreaking geniuses like Kanye West are, of course, really forward-thinking people who have been leading our society in all sorts of ways. So it is interesting how these different, cryptocurrency is essentially really a paradigm shift happening on the foundational level. So I wouldn't be surprised to see, all these different people getting involved, and in particular, Kanye West talking about Tron. I'm definitely interested in cryptocurrencies like Tron and Cardano and these various different technologies that have the ability to provide decentralized media. And what essentially that means is that it's going to reshape social media the way that we understand it to be. Because take into consideration, for instance, the fact that Facebook is essentially over. I mean, nobody's buying stock in Facebook anymore. I mean, let's get real here. Now, nobody cares about what's happening with Facebook at all, and people aren't using it. It's essentially a platform for people's grandmothers at this point. I mean, nothing against Facebook at all, but just to say, I mean, the fact of the matter is they have been really, manipulating the way that their user base functions on the website, and getting into issues as far as the way that they censor people, and on top of that, the way that they treat data. Facebook is generally just an irresponsible company, and it's part of the past. It's essentially part of that old wave of social media, and the new wave, essentially the future is going to be technologies like Tron, essentially cryptocurrencies that leverage the decentralized elements of the internet, and essentially bring us into the next paradigm. And I love Twitter. I love seeing all the different memes. This one was hilarious. But I mean, just thinking about what's going to be happening as far as the Lambo situation. No, I'm just kidding. As far as the fact that we're seeing the old legacy social media platforms that people used to be using, and they were much more popular in like 2007, 2008, 2006. These Facebooks are for people's grandmothers now. Twitter is for people's grandmothers. It's all old platforms. Now is the time for new platforms. And honestly, we're already seeing it. The youth has moved on. The young kids nowadays use Snapchat because it works better, and that's really the point that I'm trying to get across, is the fact that it's the functionality of these platforms that's going to make the fundamental difference. And the fact that Tron is approaching this from a decentralized perspective really is essentially a testament to the genius behind the project and where they're going so far. So Tron's currently in the number 12 position with good reason, but I'd say towards the end of the year we'll definitely see a high likelihood probability, as far as my opinion is concerned, Tron possibly being ranked among the top 10 as far as things are going, as far as what we can expect to see in terms of the different partnerships, and where Tron is going from a data perspective. Really where that's going to be is platforms that work correctly, and don't essentially have it is interesting to see how it's all coming together, but all these different variables, the decentralization of the internet, it's really something to look forward to, and these different projects are definitely bringing it all together, in a really opportunistic time. Yeah, remember, I'm not your dad. I'm not a financial advisor. Obviously, this video is for educational purposes only, but it is interesting to see how cryptocurrencies are really bringing us into the next age, and making it possible for really the true vision of the internet to be realized. And I think technologies like Tron and various different cryptocurrencies could be right at the center of that. And I think that the different celebrities and so forth have definitely caught on board and seen that there's a lot of potential for these different platforms. And I think people like Kanye West are certainly aware of these different variables as they've been coming together in such an interesting way. I mean, maybe one day we will see the Kanye West Dogecoin type thing, but I mean, one could only hope, right? It is interesting to see these different variables as they've been coming together, but I digress. What I mean, it's all just for fun. But yeah, I mean, it is interesting. I mean, definitely, if you guys are interested in continuing the conversation, definitely make sure that you guys follow us on our official Twitter. You guys can do so very easily. That's at CryptoTuber. We'll actually be providing a link down in the description below. So all that being said, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Have a good one.